On this channel I used to show you amazing adventure and beautiful videos. So this one is a little bit different. Well, in fact, I thought this video will be one and that this adventure will be one of the most epic of my life. But it wasn't, because I failed. I had this dream since so long to cross the Pacific on a sailboat, and it was beautiful because it was also the end of my world tour. Reaching the American continent by the oceans instead of flying would have been something really meaningful for me, but unfortunately things have turned so bad. And today, these all expeditions I have been preparing for months and I've dreamed for years is cancelled. Even though today I'm trying my best to search for solutions, I'm really about to give up. Yet at the beginning, this adventure started pretty well. I arrived in Fiji by flight, seeing through the window of my plane those beautiful landscape. The island was magnificent, and I really thought that I was about to live one of the greatest adventures of my life. Alright guys, welcome to this new video. It's the first of the series of videos about sailing on the Pacific. We are going to this amazing adventure and it starts today. I'm actually at the Nadi airport. Actually, I have no much idea what will happen the next days. I just know that now I have to take a taxi and I have to join my captain. As I took the taxi and started to relax a little, I was still struggling to realize where I was. Everything had happened so fast with the flight. Just this morning I was still in Sydney, and now here I am in Fiji. Arriving at the marina, I met my crew. First the captain, then 2 other crew members, like me, coming from all around the world to take part on this crossing. Then I discovered Selkie, a beautiful 48-foot monohull sailboat on which I was going to spend the next few months. The kind of boat you dream of doing a crossing on. I settled into my cabin, a bunk bed that I luckily didn't have to share with anyone else, and enough space for my stuff. I quickly start to feel at home, and I have to admit, at that moment, seeing this beautiful boat, I start to dream. What if one day I had my own boat too? Alright, so here we are on board of Selkie. We are actually on the deck. Here's the mast, very high. Well, the seat over here when you can have a really great view during the crossing. I think I'm probably gonna sit there a couple of times. This project of crossing an ocean on a boat also quickly came with the desire to use this opportunity to learn navigations, potentially become a skipper. As I turned 30 this year, and after a long journey that had deeply exhausted me, I started seriously considering the possibility of settling somewhere and having a more stable career. That's how the idea of becoming a skipper and living in the Caribbean came to me as a perfect plan, because it combined stability and adventure. I was convinced I had found the perfect plan, and during my first weeks on the boat, I wanted to learn everything. The knot, sail handling, how to use the wind to move forward. Alright, we're under the rain and we're going for a little swim. Amazing. Right. Woo. Woo. Woohoo! Jumping from the boat here in the Pacific near to Fiji Island. Can you dream of a better sunset? Well, no sunset because it's cloudy, but still beautiful, right? Three months before coming to Fiji, I've been contacted by the captain who found me on a Facebook group where I was doing some research to do this ocean passage. He was looking for crew to bring his boat from Fiji to Alaska. We were supposed to pass by Samoa, Kiribati, Hawaii, and finish in Alaska. And even though I never thought to reach Alaska before, I start to raise this new dream of coming to the North American continent and continue my journey there. That was what was supposed to happen. And to be honest, I put so much hope in it and I trust so much the process. Maybe a little bit too much. Even though we discussed a lot with the captain before my arrival in Fiji, I discovered once I arrived here that the boat was facing many mechanical issues. Mechanical issue that was supposed to be a small things at the beginning, and we were supposed to be ready to sail after a few days. Those few days become week and then a month. And after a month, even though some of the issues were fixed, there was still this question of the autopilot that was broken and that the captain just couldn't fix. So during this month still, we sail a little bit around the island, so I get to discover a little bit what sailing is. And at the beginning, it was pretty amazing. I wanted to learn everything. I asked so many questions. I quickly feel very comfortable behind the helm. Even though the first day I was also facing seasickness, which was pretty hard.
Oh my god. This night I did my first watch and it wasn't easy at all. The boat was moving so much because we are now on open sea. We are still going around the island of Fiji, but we had to go to open sea and come back because of the wind, and I threw up so much as well. I was feeling so dizzy. Now I feel better. I slept 6 hours and I had to do my next watch in 30 minutes.
Seasickness was actually the first real challenge I encountered, and it later seriously impacted my perceptions of sailing. Seasickness happens when your brain receives conflicting information from your senses. Inside your ears, your vestibular system detects every movement on the boat. But your eyes, especially inside the cabin, see a relatively stable environment. Your brain struggles to reconcile those signals and can interpret them as hallucinations or poisoning, which result in nausea and dizziness. The good news is that the brain can adapt, and even though the first 3 days were really hard, after that I start feeling a bit better. Even if it was far from perfect, I found a lot of satisfactions at the helm, scanning the horizon during the day and admiring the stars and the vastness of the dark sea at night. Sailing under the stars is an incredible feeling, and once the seasickness passed, doing my night watch became my favorite activity. Everything is black and infinite, and it feels like you're sailing through space. This is a mystical and very powerful feeling.
From 1 to 10, how miserable do you feel?
Well, this night definitively 15. Now, no, I'm more like a 5 or 6. Yeah. It's alright, it's getting better. Alright, we are sailing back to our Fiji, and I'm on the boat. Alone on the boat, it was one of the rare moments where I felt light. The sun setting, the sensation of the waves under my feet, and the fact of living an experience that so few people get to live. I just want to say that this is one of the most amazing feeling ever. Just be on a bow of this boat, sailing the Pacific, even though we are still close to Fiji. It's just so amazing. That moment was just perfect. And of course, I expected to live many more like this, fully convinced at that very moment that it was the beginning of a beautiful adventure. And so we reached the port of Suva in Fiji. And what was supposed to be few days just do the grocery and stock up before the big crossing turned into weeks waiting there in this shitty port to the mechanical issue to be fixed. Alright, so today is a very special mission. We'll have to clean the boat. So We're getting into the water. Ooh, after cleaning the boat, the new mission of today is to go to the grocery, but it's kind of rainy, so it's a rainy jacket now. I got like a whole kilo of ginger, which is just so good. Over so many ginger. It's actually very useful for seasickness. And I love ginger tea. Look at this, so much. They also have things I never saw before, like this root here that look like a bit like cassava, but something completely different.
I have one.
Lemon, $5.
This one? Nice.
That's really good. Yeah, that's really good. This one.
No, this.
Like literally 2 trolley of food. That's a lot for all the crossing. We probably booked for 1 month of food, and after we will figure out.
Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work. What's up, bro? Yeah.
And this is when the things start to be tough. We were anchoring at the port. I was literally stuck on this boat with this feeling of non-freedom. And while being stuck on this boat, stuck in my cabin, I was feeling really depressed to not be able to move around freely, to not be able to go everywhere I want. And I also started to realize that maybe I was completely wrong about sailing. I was maybe romanticizing too much this way of traveling. I thought sailing was pure freedom, that with a boat you were able to go everywhere you want, whenever you want. I thought we would be sailing coastal, stopping in beautiful bay, anchoring in amazing places, and that we will be pretty free to go in every island we want. But that was without knowing the reality, that on a sailboat you are completely dependent on the weather, and especially of the wind. And as we are sailing with the wind against us, we were just zigzagging in the oceans, trying to reach the other side of the island. I don't know if it was supposed to be like this, or maybe we were just sailing in very bad conditions, but that was pure struggle. Then came those weeks in Suva where I was feeling bored, when days after days was looking exactly the same, and I just wanted to leave this place, but we couldn't because we have to fix the boat. So I am here at the marina, and after the grocery and fruit market, actually we were supposed to leave, but things didn't go as planned because there is still a lot of things to fix on the boat, especially the autopilot and some electronical stuff we will need during the crossing, to have drinkable water and to have electricity. So we're still here on the port in Fiji. While some people see in sailing this infinite freedom to travel across the world, I saw a lot of constraints. And even if I didn't want to admit it at first, it was actually the least free way of traveling I had experienced in my life. You're stuck in port, confined in a space that suddenly feels very small, with not much to do. Even going to a nearby island or just a bay a few kilometers away is always difficult. Where with a car you can cover long distance quite freely, a boat, besides being incredibly slow, it's constrained by many external factors and can very quickly get stuck in port. Knowing that there were hundreds of islands here in Fiji and not be able to go to them was extremely frustrating. And yet we tried more than once, but for reasons I still don't fully understand, wind, currents, reefs, everything keeps stopping us, and most of our plans fail. Which, as you can imagine, didn't help reduce my frustration.
I still think that when the right conditions are met, sailings can be fantastic. Unfortunately for us, none of those conditions seems to be present.
But I'm just a beginner in all of that. I'm not a sailor, I have no clue of what's going on. So I just trust the process and hope that we will be able to leave soon doing this passage and that everything will become better after that. In the entire month of struggling in Fiji, there were actually those very 2 days, that's not much on a month, but 2 days when we were anchoring in beautiful places. That's the only time where we were anchoring in a bay. Even though it was short, it was really nice.
What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
What did you do? Savannah?
hurt my head on the boom.
Boom!
Oh shit! It's a lot of blood.
And up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
So we are here going to little explorations through the mangrove. Doing over there.
Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe bottom. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe bottom. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe bottom early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises.
After this, we sailed to our last port in Savu Savu, which is on the second island of Fiji. And this is where the boats go just before leaving to the open sea. That was our last stop and our last stock up of the boat before going to Samoa.
Fiji is made of two main islands, Viti Levu, the main one where we start the expedition, and Vanua Levu, a bit more wild, and the final stop before leaving the archipelago. On this last island we actually arrived at a beautiful fancy marina. Pool, bar, restaurant, and an absolutely amazing bathroom where I took way too long hot shower. Honestly, there are worse places to be stuck on an island.
Even though in this time I was feeling deeply frustrated to not have been able in a month in Fiji to sail around, to discover beautiful places and anchoring in amazing bay, like I was dreaming about when I thought about sailing, and that I think you are thinking too. But because of the mechanical issue it was not possible, so I just accept my faith. And with all the positivity that I could find inside of me, I was just hoping that this next passage towards Samoa would be better. And also those next islands, Samoa, Kiribati, Hawaii, would be better. So last shower taken, I'm going back to the boat and we're gonna leave in actually 30 minutes to sail across the oceans.
After a month of struggling repairing the boat and waiting without being able to do much, we finally left. We were heading out of Fiji, direction Samoa. I was torn between the relief of finally starting this passage and the feeling of exhaustion from constant frustration. Despite everything, I tried to stay positive, to convince myself that everything would go well, to trust the process. Even though deep inside, I already had this feeling that something wasn't right, and this journey was no longer aligned with the idea I had of it, nor with what I really wanted. The desire to learn was gone, the sense of wonder for the sea and the excitement for the adventure had disappeared. I realized that from the beginning, I had been more attached to the challenge of crossing the Pacific Ocean than to a real passion for sailing. In that cabin, rocked by the violent crashing of the waves, I started questioning all my choices, feeling completely lost and helpless about the future.
Also on this passage, I don't know why, but somehow I was feeling more sick than ever. I had a headache. I was feeling so nauseous, going up of my bed just for steering the wheel and doing my night watch. But the rest of the time, I was in my bed just listening audiobook and just questioning my life. I was feeling that something was wrong with this. Something was not me. I was feeling stuck on this boat, like in a prison. And even though I thought at the beginning this feeling would pass, it actually grew bigger and bigger. So when the captain came to tell us that the autopilot had crashed again and we will have to turn around, go back to Fiji to fix it, I didn't feel nothing. No frustrations, no sadness, no surprise. It's just like I knew it. But maybe it was because I was feeling very sick at this moment, and once we get back to the port of Savu Savu, this is how I start to feel so bad. As soon as we arrived, the captain talked with us and told us that fixing this autopilot actually would take so much more time, and from one day to another, even though he was very optimistic at the beginning, he decided to cancel the whole expeditions. For us, and even for him. I was just feeling terrible that this dream, this expedition that I have put so many effort on it, so many sacrifice, and also so many money, that will come to an end even before start. After telling everybody about this ocean crossing, and even though quite a lot of people told me that I was crazy, that I was not possible, I just had this feeling of failure for me, failure for people, failure for my dream. And after that, I was just feeling so lost. All my project on my life was turned toward these expeditions, toward becoming maybe a skipper after. And now, especially with all the money I lost for this whole project is not possible. So for the first time since I started this journey 5 years ago, here in Fiji, in the middle of the Pacific Oceans, literally at the edge of the map, I have no idea what's my life gonna be. I definitely not gonna become a skipper, because even though I respect that for some people it's their dream and it can be really beautiful in so many aspects, I just realized that this is not for me. I just accept the fact at the end that I just don't like it. And I'm really okay with the fact of not pursuing this. Somehow after the days I overcome this feeling of failure and just realizing that if it's happened like this, it's probably for a reason, and it's probably that's just not something that was supposed to pursue in my life, and that my destiny is somewhere else. I just don't know where, because at this moment I was feeling like I was losing the control from every aspect of my life. And it was so scary and it was so frustrated, and I knew that I had to be the control. I wanted to make a new plan. I wanted to know where I'm going, and somehow something just quit in my mind. And I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the point. Maybe I just have to learn now to just embrace it. Embrace the fact that I have no clue of what's gonna happen in my life. I try my best. I try everything until the last moment to make it possible. It just couldn't happen, and I'm really sad to tell you that. I know I used to do better video, more amazing adventure, but this is also the reality of traveling, the reality of life in itself. Sometimes you have this huge dream, and sometimes you just realize that you were fooling yourself on this dream, that you had a really different idea of what it is that just didn't match with the reality. But still, I'm gonna continue filming this journey, and I'm gonna continue to show you the beautiful of traveling and also the ugliest part, the moment of pure happiness and also the struggle. Thank you for watching. Let's hope that the next chapter on this story will be a little bit better, but probably not on the sea. Not on the sea. Maybe some days in the future. Maybe I try again somewhere else. But for now, I'm pretty done with it. Whenever. I catch you in the next adventure.